Well, Beryl is expected to re-strengthen to hurricane force as it makes its way up to the Gulf of Mexico this weekend. Earlier today, Fox 8 spoke with a former New Orleans resident who was in the storm's path in Mexico.
As Tan Trung reports, the years that this man spent in New Orleans prepared him well for Beryl's impact.
Beryl made landfall over Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula Friday morning as a Category 2 hurricane. The resort city of Tulum took on the brunt of the hurricane. Ahead of Beryl, Mexican authorities moved some tourists and residents out of low-lying communities, but tens of thousands of people stayed put, including Pablo Paz, who spent a majority of his life in New Orleans. He moved to the Mexican city of Mérida 3 years ago. We spoke with him as Beryl moved closer to his home.
We're supposed to start receiving tropical force winds within the next hour, hour and a half. Right now it's 10:30 my time here. We're an hour behind New Orleans.
When it comes to preparing for storms, Paz is a seasoned veteran, thanks to his many years in New Orleans. He knows when to be concerned and when to be more controlled.
The preparation here is very different from New Orleans. The houses are made out of solid concrete to include the roof. It's concrete beams with concrete poured over it. So there's not a lot of fear that something's going to happen to your house. Flooding is a concern. In the colonial part of the city, there's very little drainage. So the streets have been flooding a lot lately.
Paz says he's fortunate the storm's track put his city on the southwestern side of Beryl. The storm weakened as it moved over the peninsula. For residents like Paz, they're not really worried about damaging storm surge, but more focused on the aftermath of Beryl.
The biggest fear here is the power outages and how long they're going to last. People are more afraid of losing all the food in the refrigerator, food spoiling, having to deal with the heat after the storm with no air conditioning, that sort of thing.
Beryl has left a deadly trail of damage in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean. It's heading toward the Gulf of Mexico, where it's expected to regain strength. Communities in its path are now bracing for its arrival. Now, several cruise lines, including Carnival and Norwegian, which both operate cruises originating here in New Orleans, changed itineraries and schedules to avoid the storm. Beryl was downgraded to a tropical storm this afternoon. When I checked in with Pablo Paz about an hour ago, he said they were getting some strong gusts of wind and steady rain, but so far, the power was still on.